Well, good morning, y'all. This is Wednesday, the 26th. Getting ready to leave Sam's here in Billings, Montana, and head south to start our day's travel. I've got to get some fuel here first. I'm going to top off. I'm a little over half a tank, 224 miles on this tank of gas, but I'd rather start out with a full tank of gas. And we're at the point where Interstate 90 turns and heads south, and it goes that way for 100 and some miles, and then it turns back to the east and goes easterly. But between the time it turns south and the time it turns east, there's a little spot that I want to visit and hopefully get some good footage. So until later, let's HDR, as they say. Back with you with scenery change. As you can see, there's a lot fewer trees now, some gently rolling hills, and gorgeous yellow flowers. The yellow flowers are just all over everything. It's beautiful. You can see where Montana gets the slogan, Big Sky Country. Just take a look at this beautiful sky. It's a beautiful day, and you can see forever. Of course, if it was wintertime, it'd be -5, -10 degrees, colder than heck, and the wind blowing like crazy. Not for me. Look at the big, beautiful, unpopulated, unspoiled space. Okay, we're now coming to our first stop, the little Bighorn Battlefield. I have been by this area at least 24 times, and I thought I'd never had the time to stop. But this time I decided I'm going to stop. I'm going to take the time. And no matter which side you're on, the government's or the American Native Indians, this site holds a lot of history and a lot to be learned.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
It's $25 the cabin national front pass.
Yes, sir, I do. Let me dig it out for you.
Go straight up. There's some restrooms up there. Loop around them and tuck in that left side where the trailers and RVs are. Straight up ahead. Just straight follow the arrow.
Okay, straight ahead. Thanks, sir.
Have a nice day.
You too. Welcome back to the second half of my travel day. The visit with the at the park here was very long when you take into account the lecture or the discussion on what went on here given by the ranger, and then the walk around the park looking at the sites and the monuments and so forth. That was very long. So what I've decided to do is put that visit to the park in a separate video. That will be the next video in the series, so please look forward to that and watch that. But now I will continue on with the second half of my travel day on down and until I stop for the evening. So more scenery to come, more interesting things along the way. So please continue watching, and remember that I appreciate each and every one of you for watching my videos. So stay tuned, more to come. Phil out. I'm about to get passed by a semi, and when I looked in my rearview mirror, I thought it was carrying one of those big speed boats, those high-speed race boats, sitting on its side. But when it actually came around me, it was just two big rings. I don't know what they're for. They're just two big round rings laying on their side. For those of you who don't know, those wooden structures on the right, those fences, if you will, are snow barriers. They are put up strategically in certain spots to stop the snow in the wintertime from drifting over and covering up the freeway in a lot of areas. They know from experience where the snow is going to blow, and so they put those fences up strategically to stop that drift, so it doesn't stop traffic so much. It does stop, traffic does stop during the wintertime sometimes until they can get them plowed off. Okay, back with you. I just thought you might enjoy some of the typical scenery for southern Montana and northern Wyoming. This is very typical of the scenery around here. Rolling hills, grassy fields, but it's still beautiful, very beautiful. But it, looks isolated and desolate. But it's beautiful. Okay, back with you. I got off of Interstate 25 onto US 26, headed east towards Guernsey. But I came to this little town called Fort Laramie, Wyoming. Small old town, and I saw a city park there. At least I found it on the map, and I thought that I would go in and check it out. Well, I pulled into the city park, and it looked a little bit run down, and there was a sign there for a donation and stuff, and as I eased through there, I looked over there, and there was this traveler sitting at a table. I guess he was a traveler. He had his backpack and walking stick and everything set up there, and big old floppy hat on and a beard, and he kind of looked at me and kind of smiled with one of those, smiles, and I thought, no. So I waved back to him, said, how you doing, and I just kept going. I just did not feel comfortable staying there. Not that he bothered me that much, except I didn't want him to come over and ask for anything, or so I just didn't feel comfortable in that park. It didn't feel right to me. So I left and went on down the road. Beside that, the park was right beside the train tracks, and I know they get a lot of trains coming through there in the evening, but why is it every time I want to find a place to park for the night, there's always a troll train right there to wake you up in the middle of the night? Hey y'all, Phil here. I'm just going to make this little closeout video for the end of my travels today. I am at a Walmart in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. I don't know what the last thing was that I filmed, but I was going to stop at Laramie at a little city park that I saw, and supposedly had 6 sites. So I pulled down this little dirt road and went back there, and was going slow, and looked over, and there's this guy sitting over at the picnic table. He's got a bunch of bags and stuff like he's a traveler, and on the picnic table, and he kind of looks at me, a big floppy hat on. He kind of looks at me and smiles and kind of waves, and I look at him and nod and wave back, and I just keep right on going. I think I said that in the video, but if you don't feel comfortable, that's one thing about being on the road, and you turn that key and those wheels turn and head on down the road. So I didn't feel comfortable sitting there or staying there, so I figured, excuse me, 20 miles down the road's another town, so I hit the 20 miles and was going on down there, and I was looking and on the map, and there's a Maverick station, and usually Maverick stations are pretty good, and they have some spots to maybe park. So I looked as I passed up. I didn't see anything. And there's a travel plaza, truck travel plaza down there. So I pulled in there. Looked dirty from the front, and kind of pulled around back, and there's probably about a dozen trucks parked in the back, and a dirt parking lot, and I pull around the back, and I'm going slow, and on the one end of this little travel plaza, there's a little bar and grill. And I look over there, and here's a lady sitting out there in a long black flowery dress, kind of filing her nails, doing something with her nails. And I say, lady of the evening, I'm not going to stay here. And I just kept turning and turned back on the road, and went on down there, or went on down here. I knew that from looking at the map, there was a Walmart here in Scottsbluff. So I came on down here. It was only 32 miles from the truck stop. But when I got here, it was just the end of evening twilight, or
towards the end of evening twilight. I could even barely see my headlights, on the roadway. So it was still, that light. But got to Walmart here, pulled in, looked at the reviews. One of the reviews said they were told, stay over by the garden center. So that's where I am, is over at the garden center by the curb where I could put my slide out. And next to the road, hopefully it'll calm down a little bit. There's three semis here and a truck pulling a trailer with some cargo on it, and another truck that's spending the night, I can tell. But anyway, I feel safe here, got the lights, got the cameras, so I'm going to take a shower and hit the hay, because it's getting kind of late. I got to download all the images off the cameras, though, before I have a fresh start in the morning. But I didn't see much of Fort Laramie to video, so we'll see what happens from here. So, thanks for coming along on the journey. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. And until later, I appreciate each and every one of you watching my videos. And safe travels to y'all if you're traveling. And until later, Phil out.